Today we're going to be looking at Team Builder on PvP and some of the best teams for Great League next season, which will be starting September 3rd. So we'll just be starting with Clodsire, a gigantic meta threat, number 1 in the meta at the moment. We've got Mandibuzz here and Machamp Shadow. So Machamp Shadow is going to be a very, very powerful pick, extremely glassy, but it can output a lot of damage. So you can see the ratings really like it, AABA. So that's very good. It's going to be fairly weak to Pidgeot, Clodsire, Azumarill, and Gastrodon. That's okay, as we do have at least one Pokemon on the team that can beat them, and Pidgeot is not to be seen in this meta, as it's been nerfed into oblivion. You can also substitute Machamp Shadow for Gallade, which is another very powerful Pokemon. Now we're going to be looking at the next team here. We're going to be starting it off with Licky Licky, which is a new meta threat. It's now meta because it's got Roll Up, one of the best moves in the game now. Gastrodon, I think Gastrodon is a little bit overhyped, but it is still very powerful. BABB there. And Licky Licky doesn't look great right here, but it actually does perform quite well, and very well neutrally as well. Gastrodon, only 3 losses in the top 20 meta threats, but not sure. Credilli, Lilith, Mandibuzz, and Jumpluff look a bit hard for this team, but still do very well into those Pokemon, and a lot of them will not be seen in this meta. Now, we're going to look at the next team here. We're going to be starting it off with another Clodsire. Clodsire going to be in a lot of the teams. It's very powerful. Pangoro and Machamp, so a very cool ABB style team. It's going to be very, very powerful. It is going to get a CCBB, so maybe not as good, but still going to be quite powerful. See, a lot of X's. Going to be a bit weak to Gastrodon, I can already see. Gastrodon, a lot of these matchups are very, very close, so I'm not really sure if Gastrodon is really too problematic for this team. Like Pangoro and Machamp can still do very well in those matchups. The next Pokemon we're going to be looking at is Feraligatr, another very strong Pokemon, buffed a few seasons ago, and now it's going to be, I think, number 2 or number 3. Next we're going to have Clodsire, then Jumpluff, so that's going to get us a BAAA, which is very, very good. Just coverage is going to be a bit of a problem for this team, but most of the Pokemon here seem you at least have one answer. Steelix, Abomasnow, Snow, and Lapras you pretty much never see. Dunsparce, Mandibuzz, lots of fairly neutral play there, so Feraligatr and Jumpluff can still do quite well into Mandibuzz, but Gastrodon instead of Clodsire as well, and you can also put down Mandibuzz instead of Jumpluff, which is still going to be a great team. The next team, or Clefable, actually. Now we're going to be looking at the next team here. We're going to be starting with just a Clefable. Clefable is going to be very powerful now that it has access to Swift, Diggersby as well, and Marowak Alolan, another new Pokemon that's in the meta. Clefable, probably a little bit rated a bit too highly, because PvP goes by successful beta nuke with Swift and Moonblast, so it doesn't get the best ratings on PvP, and there's a lot of Pokemon to watch out for, but this team is still a very good team and a very fun team to run, and a lot of these Pokemon there never used, you'll never see them, maybe at like the lower ranks. You can also replace Marowak with Diggersby. Next team, not Smacks. You don't want to be running Smacks or Smeagol. Smeagol not in the Great League. So now we're just going to be going over to Sandslash Alolan, not Swampert, not Sableye. So Sandslash Alolan going to be a very good core breaker to a lot of teams. Jumpluff and Pangoro. So this is going to be a very, very strong team. One of the teams I am definitely going to be running. It does get a BCCB, but look at all those crosses. That's very good. Gonna be big to Marowak, Ninetales, Salazzle, so all those fire types basically. Even Magby, that's a bit of a weird one. You're never gonna see that. So we are double weak to fire, but that's alright. Next Pokemon, I'm gonna be seeing Jumpluff Shadow version, as well as Registeel and Steelix. So another ABB style team. It's gonna be getting a fairly low rating of a D. Coverage, it is going to do fairly well into a lot of meta threats, and it doesn't look like it has actually any too big meta threats. Marowak, Alolan, Talonflame, so all those fire types obviously. So not exactly an amazing team. One maybe for fun, well, maybe if it works for you, you can do it. That's what I've been seeing a lot around Expert and Veteran. They're running a lot of weird teams that don't actually make sense, but I guess they're working for them. Next one, we're going to be looking at some spice picks. Moltres Galarian, number 73 actually, after the Sucker Punch buff. And also Nidorino, which is going to be Nidorina, which is going to be a very cool XL level 50 Pokemon, as well as Marowak. So this is going to be a very cool team. They get to be BBCB. Still going to be very powerful. Surprisingly, Moltres, Galarian, and Nidorina can put in the work against the meta. So you're going to be weak to a lot of dragon types, Frostlass, a lot of dragon and ice types this team might struggle against, but a lot of the time you can fight back. You can also put Mandibuzz instead of Moltres, that's fun though, and Clodsire instead of Nidorina. So this is going to be a bit more of a boring meta team, but that's... Next team we're going to be looking at is Bastiodon. Bastiodon is going to be quite a toxic Pokemon, just a wall face, Superior, and Malamar. Malamar, we're not 100% sure if it's actually going to be meta, but Psywave, with what we're expecting, it's going to be an extremely good move. Basically a Shadow clone, except one turn, which makes it extremely powerful. This team is going to be a bit weak to Medicham, Gligar, and Gliscor, so it looks like a lot of flying and steel types. Next we're going to be looking at is Pangoro, which should be used instead of Malamar. So next team we're going to be looking at Clodsire, Jumpluff, and this one is just like the team, like the best team possible pretty much. It's going to grab an AABB, it's going to be extremely powerful. Pretty much no Pokemon that would absolutely destroy it. Frostlass, you have a lot of meta, still good play there. You can still definitely put in the work there. And Machamp you can also use instead of Pangoro. I prefer Machamp to Pangoro, but it's whatever you feel. Now, thanks for watching. Those are some great teams that we can use in the next season of Pokemon Go PvP.